Thank you. We talked about you mentioned the body, the fragile, finite body. Ooh, so good. You must be a poet or something.
Maybe. Sometimes. I play one on TV.
But I feel like embodiment, even if, for example, in the work you read, the body is such a robust part of the work you do, both visually and in the poems. At the same time, I feel like there is such a surreality in there. So I'm curious about that tension between embodiment, like the fact, irrefutable fact of the body.
Yeah.
And then all these sideways possibilities that you also, that are the opposite of real factual material present things in the work.
Yes. You know, the corporal has always been something that has intrigued me for a very long period of time in my life. And I think part of that has to do with health crisis, right? You know, really seeing the body as a space that anything can happen. You know, and a lot of times those things that happen aren't wonderful things. Right?
Nobody ever, look what my body did today. Isn't it cool? Said no one ever.
Exactly. And, you know, as women in particular, right? And this is not to say that other bodies are not equally as mysterious, right? Equally as magical. But there's always something that's happening with your body when you're a woman. You know, from the time you hit puberty, and it's on. You know what I mean? It's all the way on. It's like all of this metamorphosis that's happening.
Constant.
It's almost, for me, surreality is a great word, right? Because things begin to shift and change so rapidly that your brain can barely keep up with it, right? And so then because there's that gap between the logical mind and what's happening with your physical being, there's all of this space of possibility of like, what is really happening here? That liminal space is a mystery space. It's an empty space, right? And so you're forced to try to make sense of the thing, and the ways that we make sense of the thing may not always be in a logical way. Right? So we jump to fast conclusions about things. We race to, you know, MedMD. We're trying to self-diagnose. You know, we're doing all of these things that, you know, lend itself towards the preposterous, towards the fantastic, toward the horrific, right? And in that little space of like where the body is trying to catch up, the mind is trying to catch up to the body, you know, there's all of this space of wonder and horror, right? And so, you know, having gone through, you know, different health crises and watching people in your family, right? We watch people in our families go through different health crises as well, right? My mother struggled with cancer twice. My father had cancer at one point. My mother and father had, you know, heart conditions. You know, my father died of a heart condition. So it's like there's always this something that's happening around our body, around the physical space of the body. And so it's been, for me, an obsession over my life, you know, of like writing through the fear, the anxiety, the reality of what it is, of, you know, not being respected or heard at the medical facilities, right? You know, I mean, it's legendary, like just the dismissiveness, right? Especially that Black women face when we go into the doctor, right? And so, you know, I try to use my writing in particular as a space to, and sometimes the visual art as well, you know, there's kind of like misshapen body things that are happening, you know, in the collages. But, you know, there's things that happen where we have to, you know, grapple with that. So I use the writing to do that.